Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the really poignant story of Waiting for Rain, a film that's all about loneliness, hope, and the incredible power of a connection built entirely through letters. So right from the get-go, the film hits you with this beautiful, kind of sad thought. It just perfectly sets the stage for a story where rain isn't just weather, it becomes a symbol for everything the characters are hoping and waiting for. So, what's this story really about? Well, at its core, it's all about waiting. But not just, waiting around. We're talking about waiting for a letter, waiting for a real connection, and in the end, waiting for a tiny miracle. To really get why this wait is such a big deal, you gotta meet the two people at the center of it all. See, they're living these completely separate, aimless lives, both just feeling lost and really needing a spark of something. You can see their lives are kind of running on parallel tracks of, well, nothingness. On one side, you've got Young Ho. He's a student who is completely stuck in a rut, failing his classes, getting grief from his dad. He just has no direction. And then on the other side, there's So-hee. She's quietly living in her sick sister's shadow, basically putting her own dreams, her whole identity, on pause to take care of her family. So Young Ho's feeling disconnected. He's looking for something, anything, and he decides to reach back into his past. He sends a letter to his childhood friend, So-yeon, with absolutely no idea that this one simple act is about to kick off something that'll change his entire life. But, of course, there's a twist. The letter gets there, but So-yeon, the girl it's meant for, is too sick to even reply. Her sister, So-hee, is the one who finds it. And in this moment, probably out of her own deep loneliness, she decides to write back. As her sister. It's her chance to have a connection that's finally for her, and it creates this fragile, beautiful bond that's built on a secret from the very first word. Now, to keep this whole thing under wraps and protect herself, So-hee lays down 3 simple but totally absolute rules. These aren't just random limitations, They actually create this perfect, safe little bubble for them. A space where they can be completely open with each other emotionally without all the messy stuff that comes with real life. And you know what's crazy? In spite of all these rules, or hey, maybe because of them, these letters become their everything. For two people who feel totally alone, this becomes their shared reality, a little sanctuary where they find the comfort they've been missing. It honestly feels like a miracle to them. But the closer they get through their words, the more they want to just break the rules. That feeling becomes almost too much to handle. And this tension leads them to make one single, very fragile promise. A tiny crack in the wall they've built between their letters and their real lives. And this is the big problem, right? They've built this incredible emotional connection, but the very thing their relationship is built on, the anonymity, the rules, is the one thing stopping them from taking that next step. How do you meet someone when the number one rule is you can't try to meet? And the solution they land on is just so beautiful and so impossible. So he, still pretending to be her sister, makes a pact. They'll meet. On one day, December 31st. But there's a catch. A condition. Just as unpredictable and as hopeful as their whole relationship, it has to be raining. And right when you think, okay, maybe they'll actually get to meet, right when there's this little glimmer of hope, that's when the truth that's been hiding behind every single letter comes crashing down. First, the news that just completely shatters everything for Young Ho. He finds out that his childhood friend, the person he thought he'd been pouring his heart out to this whole time, she passed away. The whole world he built in his head is just gone in an instant. And then, as if that wasn't enough, comes the truth that hits even harder. So he finally tells him everything. The person he connected with, the one who understood him, it was never who he thought it was. But you see, So-hee's confession, it's not malicious. It wasn't about tricking him. It really came from a place of love for her sister and from her own desperate human need for connection. She never, ever meant to cause this much pain. So what happens next? What happens after the letters stop, the truth is out, and a promise can't be kept? Well, for Young Ho, the wait doesn't just end. It completely changes, and it ends up shaping the entire rest of his life. Years go by, and in this incredibly symbolic move, Young Ho channels his entire life into the very thing he was waiting for. He becomes an umbrella maker. It's not some sad reminder, it's how he actively honors the hope that promise once gave him. He makes the wait a real, tangible part of who he is. And he writes this one last letter, one he never sends, that just sums it all up so perfectly. He admits that this wait basically defined his 20s. He knows he can't keep living in that state forever, but he's grateful for the memory, because for a long time, that hope was the only thing keeping him going. And that is really the heart of this whole story. It completely redefines what waiting even means. It stops being this passive thing you do. For Young Ho, waiting became an active, life-shaping force. It was a whole state of being, fueled by hope, and built on a memory of a connection that felt more real than reality itself. And all of this leaves us with this one big question to chew on. Was Young Ho's long wait just a tragedy that was born from a lie? Or was the hope it gave him and the purpose he found because of it actually a testament to the beautiful, heartbreaking power of human connection, no matter how flawed it was at the start?